Here's why this is so important. If you ever have to go to court with your tenant, whether it is you had to evict them or there was some other situation that happened, you having a paper trail will help you. A person's wealth is determined by their assets, investments, and things that they own. I say true wealth is about how you live it. Your girl is back. Welcome to Wealth Within Reach. Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Within Reach. And this is a fun one for y'all. Okay, so if you want to be a landlord, here is what you should not do. Okay, this is what we're talking about today on this episode. So I'm gonna list out 3 things that I don't want you to do. It's gonna save you so much time, so much money. Whether you are already a landlord or you're thinking about becoming a landlord, this episode is gonna help you out so much. I wish I had this episode when I first got started because it would have helped me save so much money and prevent so many mistakes. All right, let's get into it. All right, so number 1, here's the thing that I really want you to understand. When you are a landlord, okay, that means that someone pays rent to you. Okay, that you could rent out a room in your house. You could rent out your house whenever you leave 2 weeks out the year. You could have an old property that you used to live in and now you rent out. If that is the case, guess what? You are a landlord. That is a qualification for a landlord. All right. So if that's the case, I am talking to you. And if you are a landlord, here's what I want you to realize. You are running a business. Okay. The word business, if you are not in business, may be intimidating. But at the end of the day, you are running a business. And there are a lot of benefits to actually running a business. But not only do you want to just be able to take advantage of the benefits, but you have to run your property like a business. Okay. One, recognizing that on the front end is going to be huge for you. So some of the automatically property management do's and don'ts that I teach to my clients is we're not giving our tenants our direct phone numbers. Okay. We're not like, hey, yeah, here, text me. Here's my number. No. My family and I, we rented a house when we moved to our new city. We rented a house for a year just to kind of figure out where we wanted to be and where we wanted to buy our next house. And so we became renters for the first time in over 10, 15 years. And one of the first things our landlords did that was a big no-no was he texted us, he gave us his direct number. Okay. You want to be able to operate like a professional. When you go to the doctor, does the doctor give you their phone number? No, they don't. You have to set up an appointment. You have to email. If you have questions, there's a line you have to call. There's a degree of separation that you want to create on the front end. Because what happens? What happens when you give your tenant your phone number? They text you at 10 o'clock at night. They call you at 10 o'clock at night. They text you for no reason sometimes at 10 o'clock at night. This is why when you start from the beginning, you want to operate like a professional because they're going to treat you like a professional when you operate like a professional, right? So we don't need to text our tenants. Here's another thing that I see happen all the time that we don't want to do. Don't have your tenant Zelle you or Cash App you the rent. No. That's also another biggie. Also, you're making it much difficult for yourself from a bookkeeping standpoint. There's tons of opportunities in software like Avail or even realtor.com. There's so many other rental property software out there that will help to collect rent for you. And not only will they help to collect rent for you, they do everything in one place. They collect rent. They allow your tenants to file maintenance requests. They keep up with your rent roll, which you need that whenever you're going to buy your next property. They can handle your accounting. So why make it more difficult on yourself? And you're getting cash out from your tenant here, or, I hope you're not getting cash. You're getting cash or cash out from your tenant here. And then you still have to go back and figure out your bookkeeping here. And when they have a maintenance request, they got to look up the email or text you here. No, there are softwares that can do everything in one spot in one place, okay? Because the goal is not to allow your real estate investments to create another job. Your goal is to help your real estate investments to free you up, to save you time, okay? So when you are just Zelling, Cash Apping, having your tenant paying you in cash, from a bookkeeping standpoint, when it's time to go back and do your taxes so that you can take advantage of all the tax incentives, it's kind of a mess. How do you know if your tenant Zelled you or if that's the reimbursement from vacation? It's just too much to keep up with. So from the front end, by you treating this like a business and having, technology software that's helping you operate your real estate investments like a business, helps you to be able to, on the front end, run it like a business, okay? And lastly, one of the first things we do whenever we get new tenants is that we have an onboarding process. In a similar way where if you were to hire an employee or a new nanny or something like that, there's gonna be a process that you're gonna take them through to onboard them, to make sure that they know who they should contact when they need something, how they set up to pay their rent, what do they do to, do their maintenance requests. A lot of times, if you're having a lot of questions once a tenant moves in, then that means that you probably didn't prepare them with the information that they need on the front end. So we put together a welcome letter that actually, if you're part of my mentorship community pathway to purchase, we actually have templates for you already prepared so that when you get your next tenant, you just put your information on there and it's a welcome letter. And we have the welcome letter that welcomes them to be a part, to be a tenant. It lets them know where they should go to register to pay the rent every month. When is the rent due? If there's an emergency, and what emergency means, here's where they contact to have an emergency. Here's why this is so, so important. Hold on real quick. I just had to let you know this. The Owning It and Living It Experience 2025 is now live. You do not want to miss out this year. This is the only conference for Black and brown investors where we merge our culture, we merge our music, and we're all in one place in Atlanta, Georgia. You do not want to miss this year. Here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to go down to the show notes, click the link, and grab your ticket ASAP. Grab before the next price goes up. You want to go ahead and get it because we're probably going to sell out this year. All right, guys. See you soon. If you ever have to go to court with your tenant, whether it is you had to evict them or there was some other situation that happened, you having a paper trail will help you. It will help you so much whenever you go to court. So you making sure you have a designated email address for your real estate investments, having we have a Google Voice mail or just like an online phone number that our tenants contact us with. Again, we have rental property software and we teach them how to file their maintenance requests there. That helps to keep everything in one place, and then we have everything documented. So in case something happens, we protected ourselves, okay? So number one is making sure that you run your business like a business. Number two, if you want to be a landlord, here's what you absolutely should know. You should absolutely know that real estate is a long game, okay? When you are first setting up a real estate property, you are most likely putting money into the investment. And it may take you a couple years to get to the place of being able to make your money back. Real estate investing, believe it or not, it's not necessarily always what you see on Instagram with your favorite guru. It is not a get rich quick scheme. Real estate investing is a long game, okay? You make your money when you buy and you make your money over time. I personally have never had someone who has invested in real estate and then you talk to them 20 years later and they're mad about it. They're really happy about it because hindsight is 2020. They're looking back and they're like, man, I'm really happy I had this investment. I remember in 2008, I was actually just getting out of college and just kind of getting into the real world. And when the real estate market crash happened, I have clients during that time that bought multiple properties. When some people were losing their properties and they had an adjustable rate mortgage and we had the biggest housing crash in the United States history, we also had clients that were buying properties. I had a client that bought 2 properties for $5,000 each in 2008. They did a little bit of work to it. They rented it out through Section 8 for 10 years. And now that property is worth over $350,000. Okay. So like I said, real estate is a long game. If you have an unexpected HVAC repair and you have to replace the HVAC, or you have a roof that needs to be replaced, or some other type of expense, or maybe you chose a bad tenant and now you have to evict the tenant. Yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, it can be hard. Yes, it is extremely frustrating when you're going through it. I've had some of the craziest situations happen, but I have a long-term mindset. I am not looking at this as a quick, I got to get in and get my money back type of strategy. I'm looking at this as retirement, as the ability to be able to do semi-retirements, being able to help my kids pay for college, being able to also go on trips and do things like that as well. And so I want you to understand that, so that will help you to be able to press through when you get through those hard moments, knowing that if you hang in there, that this is a part of the process. But if you hang in there long term, you will actually see the benefits of your investments. Okay. We've had properties that we bought for $60,000, $70,000 that we've turned around and been able to sell for over $500,000. Okay. And I personally feel like real estate investment is the easiest way to become wealthy in America. This is why all the billionaires and everybody else invest in real estate. Okay. It is the only type of investment where it doesn't require you to have money to make a lot of money. I know investors that have started with $0 down. They bought their first property, they got down payment assistance, and they were able to grow their equity, and now they're millionaires. Name another type of asset that does that. Okay. So that's important to realize. Real estate is a long game. Girl, that's good. That's good. Okay, now that I have you, isn't that conversation so good? Aren't you ready to take it to the next level? If you're here and you've been binging all my YouTube episodes and you are ready to buy your first or next investment property, but you just don't know where to start, you just need help to figure out what exactly do I need to do based on my specific situation to figure out how to get to the next level. If that is you, I invite you, along with all of my mentees, to join us in my Pathway to Purchase Your First or Next Investment Property program. This program is so amazing. This is how you are actually able to work with me directly. Here's the beautiful part about this program. You pay one time and that's it. It comes with lifetime access. Everybody repeat, lifetime access. There is no renewal fees, no annual fees. You get access directly from coaching from me. Every 2 weeks, you're going to be able to chat with me, figure out what your specific situation is. I'm going to be able to help you overcome it. Plus, you have access to over 50 on-demand trainings that's going to walk you through everything. If you're just now learning about what all this real estate stuff means to I want to actually scale and buy my next multifamily property. It's going to teach you everything in between. And here's the best part. With the 50 plus on-demand courses, you aren't just learning from me. You're learning from the best and the best in the industry as well. You're learning from Dr. Joe about property management. You're learning from Dominique about out-of-state investing. You're learning from my top contractors on how to work with contractors. This program is so amazing. I even include checklists and SOPs and downloads. So if you buy a property and you have a tenant and you don't know what to do, guess what? There's a checklist for that. You're getting ready to do a renovation and you need a contractor agreement, guess what? There's a contractor agreement with that. I'm able to basically just provide everything for you. Why start from scratch when you have access to a program that is done for you? You have the support you need and you have the community. I want you to join me in the Pathway to Purchase Your First or Next Investment Property program. And guess what? Because you listen to this podcast, I'm going to give you a little discount. If you go to the link in the bio or onlylivingit.com and you enroll today and hit P2P500, I'm going to give you $500 off. Yes! I look forward to seeing you on the next call. Come join me. Last but not least, if you want to be a landlord, here's what you should not do. You should not be cheap. And I know this is controversial because I know that a lot of you have grown up in the DIY, I got to do everything myself type of vibe. Okay. And you know, that can only get you so far because at the end of the day, if you're cheap, you're going to pay twice. All right. And if you're not going to pay this way, you're going to pay by the mistakes you make, right? So you're going to pay either way. And so this is really important to realize on the front end. If you buy a property and you're like, all right, it already has a tenant in it, I'm going to keep the tenant, I'm not going to do much repair. Maybe you bought it from someone who was already a slumlord and they didn't do a lot of work to it. And you look up and you're frustrated. You look up and you look back at your numbers and you see that every month you're having to pay a couple $100s towards repair and maintenance. Guess what? It's because you were cheap. You didn't do what needs to be done on the first end. So now you're paying for it every month. And this is how real estate works. My properties that we purchased, that we bought them, we did the renovations that we needed to do. We didn't do cheap renovations. We used architectural shingles. We bought good materials. We invested on the front end. Those properties have the least amount of maintenance now 5, 6, 7 years later, okay? And that's because we made the investment on the front end, so now we're able to see the rewards on the back end. And that's how real estate is. You can look at that all across the board. You can look at that from an investment standpoint in your education. If you're willing to pay up front, then that helps you to save on mistakes later. If you're not willing to pay up front, then don't be surprised when you have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 mistakes because you weren't willing to pay on the front end. It's the same way with your renovations. If you want to be cheap and you want to choose the cheapest contractor, if you got 3 bids and you move forward with the cheapest contractor because they gave you the cheapest estimate, don't be surprised when a year later your kitchen is falling apart, okay? Because you probably, just because that you had that contractor and they gave you the cheapest estimate, that doesn't mean that they were the best person for the job. And that's how real estate is. So it's important that you focus on value instead of price, okay? You have to look at what value is this vendor providing for me? What value is this education providing for me? And then based on the value, that will help you to determine if it's something that you should invest in, okay? If I am thinking about buying a small multifamily building, and maybe I hadn't bought a small multifamily building before, before I consider like, okay, I wanna do this. This is my first time doing this. Either I can go all in myself, try to YouTube, Facebook group, try to figure it out, and risk the peace of mind of not having all the steps laid out and not knowing what I should do and just kind of wing it and go from there. Or I can invest to learn exactly what to look out for by someone who has already been through it, who can give me the blueprint, who can help me streamline the process, that can help me save so much time and money, and then be able to do it 10 times faster, 10 times better, right? And so that's why it's important to focus on value and what you're going to get out of it versus price, because a cheap person pays twice, and I have done it multiple times. So I want to hear back from you. What are some other things that you wish you would have known when you first became a landlord that you think people should know in order for them to consider this before getting into real estate investing? Let me know in the comments. I love to have the conversation with you. But this is a great episode. If you really found some value from it, share this episode with 2 or 3 friends who are already landlords or are thinking about being a landlord, and make sure that you like and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye. Hey friend, have you been enjoying this podcast and you're like, okay, Erica, how can I connect with you and other of your amazing guests that are on the podcast? You can do that within the Owning It and Living It Facebook group. I have the Owning It and Living It Facebook group to help to foster community with other like-minded real estate investors. Folks are sharing advice, I'm sharing tips, and we're fostering community so we can help take our real estate investments to the next level. If you are ready to do that, I want you to join the Owning It and Living It Facebook group. You can go to the link in the bio to join today.